I am collecting executive positions in different societies like Pokemon, and I was a little bit amused watching back some of my video that I made recently because I was like, I always do this. Every time I break up with a guy, I always transform my life for the better. And I don't know if this guy hurt me deeper than the other guys. I mean, maybe it was the most serious thing I've ever done. But whatever it was, I mean, I don't want to give him credit. I was actually thinking of making a video saying thank you, him. Thank you, Hugo. But actually, I don't think it has anything to do with him. And I am just really excited because I don't know, I'm doing a lot of things consistently to make life better, and I'm taking just his mediocrity, like the mediocrity of like what life like, accepting life with him, life that just happened to have him in it. And I'm taking that mediocrity and I'm alchemizing it into like great things. I've decided to be brave and to be ferocious, and Jermaine Greer is helping me on this journey. My friends are helping me on this journey, and most of all, I'm helping myself on this journey. And like, life is opening up, and I have things to do. Like, and I've always had things to do, but I'm realizing I have many things to do. I have like the videos I want to work on, the essays I want to write, the films and documentaries I want to make, the paintings I want to paint, and the books I want to read, and the friends I want to make, and the things I want to do in societies. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go and make some green tea now. I think the distance so far and really surprised me. Why not surprise yourself further and keep going in that direction?
Your mother wanted to name you Aaron, but her body built you as a different man. And my friend, if you wanted me to call you Aaron, I can, Aaron, I can. You sing your song with your back turned to me, your body shaking, voice certainly still. And closing my eyes will help you turn around, Aaron. I will, I will, I will, Your father wanted to take you shopping for something.
My smile's gonna be symmetrical, my teeth are gonna be like Hummels. I'm gonna be like a fucking bombshell. And then I'm gonna get my glasses removed. People won't even know that once upon a time I was a girl who used to have thoughts and used to read books and they have a personality. They're gonna be like, oh, she's hot, I bet she's dumb as fuck. And they're gonna have one conversation with me and they're gonna be like, she knows like math. She's probably a doctor, like a humanities doctor, not like an ugly doctor, like who plays people's lives. Like, especially something like this, because glasses are something that I think I've taken for granted much of my life. The fact that wearing glasses gave the impression that I'm a less dynamic, sexual, exciting, or interesting being in comparison to other people never struck me. In the same way, I didn't realize I was short, despite the fact that I've been in the front of every school assembly since I was about 5 or 6 years old. I'm curious what life looks like when I don't wear my glasses. It sounds very superficial, and it is, but I think that the clothes we put on our back and the way that we paint our faces allows us a degree of adventure and dynamism that cannot be underestimated. it's there, and it affects how other people interact with us and how we think of ourselves. Well, they've treated me very differently depending on the success I've achieved and how my body looks, and all of these things are different. I saw this, well, by different I mean fluctuating. I saw this thing on Pinterest about how the body is a shape-shifting vessel of us.
She's got away. She's got away. She's got away. She got away. She got away. She got away. She's got away. She's got away. She's got away. She got away. She got away. She got away.
Sontag suggests that part of the process of becoming a woman entails that you forfeit some of the freedoms that are afforded to the fool or the child. I also know that when you diet, you have to be disciplined. When you draw a boundary, you have to risk losing people, losing certain experiences and sensations that you are well acquainted with. But I think one vital thing that I have trouble remembering, but I'm making an effort to remember, is that as you lose these things, you also gain other, larger, cooler things. When you draw that boundary with your friend, you have a sense of self that buoys you up late at night. And when you diet and work on your physique, you develop the kind of body you want and a confidence in your choices that you won't be governed by impulse and pleasure. You can rely on yourself to have your own back and to do brave, noble things. And the same goes for the process of becoming a woman. As you forfeit those freedoms, you get to be a woman, which is really cool. And I hadn't realized how cool it was until I was dancing in my room just now, and I realized that I feel very free because I've been angry lately and I've been trying not to be ashamed, and I've been dancing, and I realized the worst thing that I could do is perhaps embarrass myself, but the best thing that I can do is feel young again. Women who don't express themselves, I heard, are susceptible or they're at risk of more than 80 different autoimmune disorders. And that really struck me today as I was dancing in my room, because I was dancing in a way that was for expression. It was almost tribal and ritualistic. It wasn't for some sort of audience that I perceived to be watching me. It was for my benefit and the expression of my feeling of my grief. And you know, it didn't much matter in a sense that my stomach was sticking out or my makeup wasn't perfectly done or that I didn't look the most seductive in that moment. I felt beautiful, of course, I did, but in a different sense. The beauty wasn't even, it didn't matter, but I did feel beautiful. And that feeling of being beautiful without being seductive or being consumed, without being an object that is consumed, I think that's part and parcel of womanhood, and it's a wonderful experience. I feel that a lot of guys want women to perform pleasure. They want them to be relaxed and organic and to lend their spiritual energy to them. If they have the enlightenment to know that women do have a spiritual energy, they want to feed off of that energy and benefit from not just the intellect and experience that a woman might provide for those superficial things. No, they want to benefit from her spirituality, depth, and high vibration, her frequency. They want to be keyed in on it. And rather than meeting her at that level and providing an environment where she is able to freely express her spiritual self, I think they demand that it is given to them, and such people don't realize they don't deserve your spiritual energy, they don't deserve your softness. Your softness should be preserved, and that deep well of generosity that you have as a woman should be given abundantly and completely to yourself. And it's sort of like an explorer. I feel like some men are like explorers, and their interest is not exploration precisely. It is fame. It is fame and the exploitation of resources, and they see you as a resource, and they can see that it can be exploited, but they don't understand that certain natural scenes are not to be disturbed, that they have a grandeur and power to them that is rare and should not be dishonored by trying to sell or define it. And the more I allow myself to renounce shame and to see good and to draw on all the loveliness that is inside me. I say loveliness because I want to emphasize that that quality is worthy of praise, and it's something that I love. And perhaps it is love, it is a source of energy. I don't say loveliness because it is pleasant, precisely, or it is fragrant, like a lot of women's perfumes and mannerisms are. I say it is lovely because that's one of its symptoms, maybe. And in the same way you call fried eggs because they're made in a frying pan. Perhaps I call this feeling loveliness because it exhibits such great things into my life. And I think as time goes on, if I practice this more, and I have the feeling I will, I think I'll just feel more free. And I can see that I'm healing in a number of very important ways, because I feel freer, and things I used to find attractive when I was not so healed, I'm beginning to find unattractive. And I like that. So I'm noticing the day starts to slump for me sometime after 12 or 1 p.m. I'll start the morning off doing a bunch of really good things. I'll have my vitamins, I'll have my first, usually only meal of the day. If I'm fasting, I'm trying to be consistently fasting. I'll have my coffee with my vitamins. I'll have some green tea to suppress my appetite for my skin. And I'll have plenty of water. I might even journal. I'll open up Pinterest and try to time things. I'll try to be mindful of all the things that I want to get done in the day. I'll make my bed. Maybe I'll even get some reading done and spend some time with my mom. And then at some point, usually I think after listening to music, I'll end up kind of slumped on my bed and feeling like, whoa, this is kind of spending, it's like I just spend whole days like this, slumped on my bed, feeling awful. Right now I was thinking about Italy. I was thinking about what it would be like to travel to Italy. And I realized that a lot of my ways of thinking have been cynical for so long that I could view that kind of travel experience very cynically. Like, I thought I'll just be there and it'll just be another country, and it won't make a difference at all, that I'll still be there with my thoughts. And there's wisdom and there's truth to that. I think of that quote of Hafiz, I believe, which goes something like, I felt in the need for a great pilgrimage, so I sat still for 3 days. So I do think that who you are determines your ability to enjoy certain stimuli, perhaps. And Italy, I think, is a really great stimuli. And I think that travel can be a great stimuli, seeing new colors, sensations, and ways of living. I think provide a great deal of stimuli for beauty and hope. And I wonder what it is that makes Italy feel like it wouldn't be fun. Because when I think of wearing short dresses and things, and walking the streets alone and drinking this or tasting that, I can see why it would be pleasurable. But just like an evening indoors in Italy, why might that be less pleasurable? Why do I need stimuli like food and something to engage me? Isn't the entire experience of being in Italy kind of enough, or enough of a suggestion that it's inspiring? I feel like I've been asleep for so long, and I think the reason why I get so easy to slump on my bed and think negatively, to slip into that way of thinking again, is because I was listening to music, and I think I was thinking unimaginative thoughts, like thoughts that, like, boring people, like, I think most people think about. I think most people are numb, they're not awake, and I'm trying to be awake. I think part of what made the morning go well was it was a new day and I was present, because in the morning I don't use social media. I just sort of I just do my tasks for the day, and that's how I get my day started. So maybe what I require is to be present again, because I have a lot of things to do today. It was exciting me. In bed this morning, I was thinking about what I have to do. I have to fill out this application for creative writing editor, and respond to emails, because now I'm president of the Lion Theatre Company, and there are books that I have to read, like, for example, Germaine Greer, which I always enjoy. In fact, I think I'm gonna read that right now. I really enjoy reading her. Like, she always, I always get something out of it, I think, in a certain sense. And I have to go and get my hair removed, get my eyebrows done, and I have to get a few things. I have to purchase a few things, like rose water for my skin, and Polyfax for my tongue, because the Invisalign is cutting my tongue at various points, and it would be less painful, and my sister could also use it. And I have to get cute clothes, and I have to get monk sugar, so that tomorrow morning when I have my coffee with that lovely green pasta, that can go on my gratitude list. I'll enjoy it, so I'm gonna do that. I think what I need to do is just be aware more. Like, systems don't work sometimes, I think, unless you're aware of the need to adhere to systems, mindfulness. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write down that thing about the green pasta in my list of things I'm grateful for today. I'm gonna add this clip to the video so it can transition to a new song, and I will read my book a little bit and meditate. I think that's what I need. And when I'm done, I feel more less, spiritually ill at ease, and I feel less like that. I'm gonna do my morning affirmations, dance a little bit, get dressed, and by that point I can leave the house and do my tasks for the day.
Love will call when you watching the lights. What I want is far away. Talk to the moon, flatten her down. Make her watch the wind all night. She can't wait, lonely as hell, walking around without moving. I'm not here, watching the mills, flatten her down. Love takes
Funny thing, when they waste too much money online shopping, they refer to their indulgence as self-investment. And I like the repackaging of blatant overconsumption as self-investment. I think there's some merit to it. Today I'm going to go to this high school reunion. I was thinking, I want to look really good. I didn't bring any of my revealing, flattering clothes from England. I left them there because those clothes are for English audiences. But I thought it would be nice to do like an Eastern, what am I talking, Pakistani look. And get my hair done and, the works. So I thought it'd be cool, and now I'm excited about this idea. I can do it. So I'll do it.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Are you fancy?
Make life better. But I don't know if I earnestly believe that this could happen for me. But I've actually changed. I've actually done a lot of positive things. It's nice, and I'm realizing I don't like a lot of people. Like, I didn't like the girls at my reunion. Well, I really like myself. And I like the person I'm becoming. She's a brave woman, and she's trying not to be ashamed. Made there, like, say what I'm thinking, but there'll also be a degree of shame. So I'll say the whole sentence, like whatever thought is occurring to me. I developed this wonderful habit of still completing my thought without giving too much heed to how entertaining or true it is. Just saying my thought and having faith in myself that I'm not a liar and I'm not a boring person either. Even if that is true, and even if I am saying something that's boring, I still deserve to say it. I'm still here and I deserve to speak. I'm trying to develop this mindset of just let them. If people want to leave, let them leave. People want to be offended or to misunderstand me, let them. Because I think I'm a very clear person and I'm working on being consistent. I don't engage in the disrespect and unkindness a lot of people my age behave with in general, and especially towards me. So I know I'm doing a pretty alright job. I'm doing a really great job, actually. So if people are determined to misunderstand me, that's fine, and they can, because that is inevitably the conclusion they would reach. The things I made for Hugo, the artistic endeavors I put together for him. And this morning I was thinking that if someone expressed me in that way, I would love it. I think it's really beautiful to receive the affections of a creative person. I'm trying to give both of these things to myself, admiration and understanding, and making these videos is one of the ways I do that. One thing I'm very grateful for in meeting Hugo is that I met someone who really valued his thoughts. he would come up with like pure BS sometimes, and he'd execute it. Watching movies, reading books, and writing are great things, but I feel that I also want to integrate with all of this some consistency and activities which require experience, a direct confrontation with experience, not intervention through the theory provided by Germaine Greer or the film lens of like Hirokazu Koreeda. I realize I'm not on my phone. I get a little bit anxious and life feels a little bit unreal. And I think that suggests to me if there's something in life that I'm supposed to be doing that I might be avoiding. And I want to spend time with my family and help those around me. And I don't want to like watch this life go by, you know? I want to be here. One thing I've realized is that being authentic might be what will save me. Good morning. I don't know if I'm a huge sexist or what. I think that might be part of why I'm feeling this way. But Germaine Greer needs to stop talking.
It came in hot, like a dream that you soon forgot. Then you left me high and dry to watch it crumble. It happened fast, like our world had to tumble and crash. Seasons change and your love didn't last. Think I found someone who loves me, somebody that's so proud that they found me, someone who loves me in every way. Finally found a love who sees me, somebody who makes my life so easy. It's the real thing. Said never again. I said
I
never
was thinking about that first text, which started everything. The text, do let me know if you'd like to get coffee, thumbs up. And I thought about that text and kind of made my heart sink. Like, it like struck the fear of God in my heart that a boy of his own volition could enter my life and make me cry, you know? And as I was thinking about that, I also felt a little bit sad. I couldn't quite articulate at the time, but that sense of fear I was feeling had to do with the fact that I felt chosen. I felt afraid and I felt sad because I felt that I had been chosen and then I'd been hurt. I thought to myself, oh, no one likes me. And then as I thought that, I almost imagined myself as a character on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And I just imagined like a camera cutting back to every scene of my life where someone has liked me. I thought it cut scene to Tom, to the sleazebags of the conservative society who were looking down my dress and asked to walk me home. The guy who asked for my Instagram, who was good looking, in the bar crawl. I think of Tom at the club telling me I have pretty eyes. I think of this guy in my Russian class who likes me, and I think of that Pakistani guy who kept asking me like all these inane questions about my life. And it struck me that no, people have liked me. People have had a crush on me. And then I suddenly had this feeling that when I have a better impression of myself, when I'm feeling myself, when I know I'm looking good, and I have this great sense of trust in myself, then it'll be obvious that people like me. And I smiled because I'm looking forward to that sensation. Feeling better already. I had my antidepressants, aka coffee, and my vitamins and my biotin to make my hair all strong. Already in a better mood, as I've said. And I am thinking it's gonna be so fun when I make an Instagram post. Wait, I'm gonna get my laptop out and we're gonna plan out the day. What is the day I want to live right now? Because I have so much power. I fasted for 20 hours. Feeling not unspeakably sad. I'm feeling unspeakably sad. What I sometimes mistook for peace was just the sensation of being engaged and flattered and terrified all in one. And I think I would have been less engaged and flattered and terrified if I had a better opinion of myself. And I think that's kind of the key to getting clean goggles.
Close your eyes, have no fear. The monster's gone, he's on the run, and your daddy's here. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Before you go to sleep, say a little prayer. Every day, in every way, it's getting better and better. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Out on the ocean, sailing away, I can hardly wait to see you come of age. But I guess we'll both just have to be patient, 'cause it's a long way to go, a hard road to hoe. Yes, it's a long way to go, but in the meantime, before you cross the street, take my hand. Life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy. Beautiful, 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 beautiful boy.
Normally, when I have thoughts of that guy, I just sort of like allow my mind to stay on those memories, to stay there and to ruminate, I suppose, and to allow myself to slip back into the good moments, slip back into the bad moments, and when revisiting those periods of time in my life, to occupy them completely. As I was filled with fear about how things went with the guy and how things went with people who actually mattered to me, I felt this like tremendous sense of fear, and it struck me that that's probably how he feels all the time. A lot of men are completely hopeless. They are selfish and they like to package their profound selfishness as ambition when really it is moral degradation and laziness. But I see divorced women who have every reason, perhaps objectively, not to be hopeful, where the deck is stacked against them in very real ways. But despite that, they do wonderful things with their time after marriage. They travel, they start that business they wanted to start, they inspire other women. And I have had the conviction lately that men are no good. Perhaps I shouldn't marry. And she says that there are so many women second wave feminists grew up with, like those eccentrics and perverts and outcasts, like old women who told them some of the things that are now considered to be fact because of the gains made by second wave feminism. And I was thinking how important it is to be that woman, because when you subjugate yourself under the patriarchy, it's not just your subjugation that you're carrying out, it is a subjugation of your sisters and also your daughters. It's like, okay, fine, you've got this guy, and like perhaps he's giving you things you want, he's feeding your ego, and he's buying you expensive things and da da da. But I feel that in a few years, that relationship with that guy will be sapless and exploitative, and you yourself will be sapless and deeply exploitative. You will not be a force of life, which I feel that a lot of women are. You will not inspire other women to be better, and in degrading yourself to such an extent, you are not just sort of degrading the gift of life that has been offered to you, you are taking the profound social responsibility that you could possibly own up to as an autonomous woman, and you are shirking it. And I think that's just evil. I really could do more interesting things if I stopped seeing guys for a bit. Like, I think that the world could open up in a number of ways, and I don't want to be someone who's like ruled by ego and lust. I want there to be more interesting and like respectable things that draw me to another person. Things beyond he's good looking and he is funny and he's smart. I want to have a partner who is an equal and sees me as an equal, and I don't want to settle. And I think that when we settle, we tell ourselves we're not enough, and I know full well that I'm more than enough, and it takes time to remember that. So I'm trying to do that. My life is looking a bit different. You know, I have green tea. Like I said, I take care of my hair and my teeth and my skin. Not as consistently as I'd like, but you know what? I don't feel ashamed about it. Like, I wish things were more consistent. I wish that I didn't feel so pessimistic, like, every now and then. I didn't lose hope. And when I was around other people, I didn't feel this compulsion to just eat and talk and think how they do. And if I can't make this life, and it's like bare fundamentals interesting, life in Pakistan without, you know, clubbing and short dresses, if I can't make this dynamic, how am I supposed to enjoy life in England?
I was alone, I took a ride, I didn't know what I would find there. Another road where maybe I could see another kind of mind there. Ooh, then I suddenly see you. Ooh, did I tell you I need you every single day of my life? You didn't run, you didn't lie, you knew I wanted just to hold you.
So I weighed myself today and I was 56.5 kilograms. And I didn't eat very healthy after that. Some might call it self-sabotage, others would call it being on my period. 2 puddings and like 3 square meals and eggs, 2 eggs and coffee. When I think about how often I eat like this, it's not surprising that I'm not losing weight as quickly as I'd like. I come so close to just, you know, cycling, and then I'm like teetering. I have to just learn to realize that if I'm teetering, that doesn't mean I stop cycling. In fact, if I stop cycling, then I will most certainly fall over. An object that is in motion tends to stay in motion. I'm going to work on my essay on why I want to lose weight and how I plan on doing this. You know, there were certain clothes I wasn't ordering for myself, like clothes where you could see my legs, for example. I thought, you know, a year ago I wasn't wearing very short dresses because I was insecure about my legs, and I almost never show my legs completely bare. So, you know, what I consider possible for myself depends on what I allow myself to accept. I realized, okay, I've ordered a bunch of clothes in the size small for myself, and that might seem stupid. Like, girls do it all the time, right? They order clothes that are sized too small for them and they don't fit into them. I'm not like other people. I don't have to adhere to their failures. Maybe I can make new mistakes. And if I order these size small clothes, I'm determined to fit into them. I have very lovely legs, and I'm making little changes every day that are so cool. And today I walked for the second time. High five. I will be able to discipline myself more because I'll know what I'm striving towards. So yeah.
Get on the stage and I call her by her first name. Try to stay away, but I always meet her back at this place. She gives me everything, I feel no pain. I break down, get up and do it all again, because it's never enough. And she makes me feel loved. I can come here and scream as loud as
From some dubious website online, and it's from China, who was taking over Pakistan, colonizing us like the English did. And this lip peel that I have on currently is supposed to have like a brown contour. My sister walked in when I was applying this. She said simply 2 words: too dark. I told her to lip peel, so you take it off, and then it's gonna have this nice light brown contour. Let's see if that's true or not. But she asked me, what does that accomplish? And she didn't mean this in like some deep ontological way, but I started thinking, it's making me happy. Like when I think about, you know, a certain outfit and having this lip turn out the way I want, and doing my makeup and wearing a nice tie, just makes me happy. And I feel way happier thinking about looking beautiful and reading a book than I do thinking about that guy who was really into Hegel.
Come on, skinny love, just let's sing it. To pour a little salt we will never eat. My, 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 my. Staring at the sink of blood across from you.
How could I kill this time? And this idea of killing time, time being this alive thing that you're supposed to get rid of, suggested to me that I need to honor my time differently. I thought to myself, how would I behave if my time mattered?
Some days I'm tired of trying, honey. You're like 1,000 miles from me. You've got the antidote for me. I'm wrapped in worry, come and find me. Lean on me now and say you want me. 'Cause you've got the antidote for me. Oh, honey, make me healthy. Don't send me flowers or a letter, 'cause only your arms can make me better. And you've got the antidote
So September has finished. Sometimes I imagine how someone might view my videos. Like, how would someone see my videos if they don't really commit to projects like that without feedback, output of some kind? How do they deal? Okay. It's okay, I'm gonna drink water and my spots will go away. But how would someone who doesn't read books feel about finishing a book even if it's boring? How does someone feel about completing a fan fiction if they're not used to writing fan fiction? They might think it's a waste of time, you can't get this published, for instance, or an art project or that kind of a thing. And I'm sure there are hobbies where I've previously had this mindset as well. Like, if it's only bringing pleasure to you, what's the point? But YouTube is not one of them, and I generally don't view projects like that anymore. I think the private returns it has are sometimes far more important. I think that's the mindset I'm coming to, that it's more important to privately enjoy something and to be publicly applauded for it. So August has ended, and for the first time, I'm actually thinking, what is the point of these YouTube videos? Like, what's the point? I'm feeling less relaxed, but August itself as a month is not to be assessed in that way. I felt very relaxed in August. I keep seeing pictures of people at my university at the beach and in Portugal and Spain, Italy, France, that kind of a thing. Not so many France pictures. The coast of France, that sort of a thing. And I see these girls in bikinis and boys with their drinks and swim trunks. I don't feel jealous of them. I don't think I would feel jealous of them at all, and I especially don't feel jealous of them because I feel like I'm similarly refreshed. Like, as I sit on my bed, I do feel like I'm at the beach and the tide is foaming up at my feet. And when I wake up and I have my apple cider shots, I do feel sort of fresh inside, and I felt like way relaxed, like way more relaxed than I was in July, and definitely way more relaxed than I was in June or, April or May. And one thing I have noticed is that I've thought about Hugo much of this year. Like, much of my thoughts have been about Hugo. I've thought about other things like colonialism, and I have thought about clothes. But I would say maybe 40 to 50% of my thoughts, maybe even 60 or 70, have been about Hugo. And I am realizing that it's all sometimes a really big distraction. Like, I can see now that Hugo doesn't matter to me, and, well, boys generally don't matter, and I'd like to take a different approach going forward. And I'm realizing that I've really changed, I've really improved, and I hesitate to use the word change because change would suggest that I became something I was not previously, but I feel like, to some extent, this is my original state. Sometimes becoming who you want to be is returning to the pure state of who you used to be before the world got in the way. And August itself, as a month, has allowed me to relax, and I finished reading Germaine Greer's The Female Eunuch. I spent most of the month reading that. Many passages on the middle class and the family I found really boring, but other passages were monumental in considering the kind of life I don't want. In fact, many of the books I've read this year have shown me the life I don't want, like this month specifically. For instance, The Female Eunuch, despite never explicitly and, actually, in terms of the percentage content of the book, specifying the kind of woman you don't want to be, Greer has still painted a very vivid picture of what that entails, like what it entails to be, in her words, a doll or a cripple. And I've realized I don't want to do that, and I'm realizing that I don't think I want to get married. And I mean, it sounds like a lovely thought. Like, when I imagine afternoons in a lovely dress, I sometimes do think it'd be lovely to have it be a Thursday and be married. But I don't know if that's like what I want to do. Yeah. The second book I read was Madonna and the Fur Coat, which showed me how habitual faithfullism is and how poor self-esteem and inaction can take you to the creation of your own hell, and that there's always something to be salvaged, and you can even destroy the little that's left to be salvaged, and it could bloom into something beautiful by having that mindset of fatalism and inaction. I tried reading Clan of the Cave Bear, which was a book my mother read when she was younger, and it didn't engage me too much. Well, it did in the beginning. It's interesting to read a book without words in that sense. Like, they're not speaking in the English language, they're speaking in, like, gestures. So even if you know what the gestures mean, the fact that the medium is gestures rather than English or French is significant. It's almost like a separate category. If there's reading English, there's reading translated work, there's this also, I would say maybe gestures. So gestures that are like not subtle human behavior, just gestures like literal gestures, not like eye contact that a couple exchanges across the room. No, like gestures as in this is sign language. So yeah, I've just had a more positive impression of myself, and I want to be resilient in September, and I want that the stuff that's been happening over the past few days, that's dealt with soon, and I'm dealing with it better than I would have a while back. I've cried a lot, but I've also regulated myself a lot, and I think that I often think about, the kind of partner who can stick with you through thick and thin. I think of past versions of myself where I feel ashamed that I dealt with situations poorly, but this is like a gift. This is a blessing from God. I can, this is a blessing that's been given to me by forces higher than myself. I can take this opportunity to be a great partner to myself. I can take this opportunity to say sorry to myself for all the times when I feel like I abandon myself. And I can take this opportunity to cultivate real resilience. So the next time when a crisis comes up, I can think of this moment as the blueprint for how to deal with a crisis like that. That doesn't mean experimentation to the point where I just don't deal with the crisis, because there's just work that needs to be done here, and it doesn't have to be so abstract castles in the air. They're just concrete work, and I think that that's what has to be done. Sometimes I think about like term time, and I think, wow, I really struggled to lose weight then, and like lately I've been losing weight pretty consistently, and I've been walking pretty consistently, and I've been dieting and fasting pretty consistently, drinking my water pretty consistently, making healthier choices generally food-wise as well. And I wondered why it was so hard to do that in England when I was surrounded by reasons, people who I could potentially change for, and there were like choices of like healthier food, and there was more opportunity to work out and order cute workout clothes. I wondered why was I not able to do that then. And I think that I was so in my mind about like a lot of this stuff. I think what was really required was to be present, and if I could go back and like try and communicate this to myself in some way, I would have said to her, girl, just be present, just be like where you are, be rooted in this moment, and whatever plans you're making, whatever systems you're coming up with, think very carefully like what is the purpose, what is the goal. If there's something I'm aiming toward, it should have a very like clear timeline, and it shouldn't be for something as dubious as a boy or self-confidence. Yes, it is a sign that you've cultivate a life of discipline if you end up with that physique that you want, and that does build confidence. But the confidence doesn't come from the achievement of that physique. The confidence comes from those daily choices you made to be disciplined. So I'm trying to be more disciplined, and it's coming easier to me every day. So yeah, that's August. I hope September is everything I want it to be and more. It's really easy to define a month it's really easy to define big things sometimes by small things. That's the way things are set up, maybe because of life or society, but I think it's easy to define like August, which has been transformational and an improvement in a number of ways, especially in the transformational front, and reduce it to like the past 4 days, suddenly August feels like the past 4 days, and I almost thought about giving up on the project entirely, almost entertained that thought. But it's still August, I'm still living, and you know, this room still looks like this room, regardless of like the thoughts of the person inside it, you know. So I must take this opportunity to remind myself that this vessel, this person, is still me, and I can still turn things around, and a lot has been turned around, so there's not like, but there's still lots to improve, and I feel safer at the end of August than I did when it started, and I feel different to who I was when I was at university, and these months could have flown by on autopilot. You know, that's happened to me before. It happens to lots of people, but I didn't let that happen, and that's something to be proud of. Yeah. Cool song choices also, with edits and things, but now it's September 1st, so I think I'm going to figure some shit out. I'm going to make a schedule for myself and like actually be on ground level present with me and figure out a system to work. Like, I don't want to avoid the problem and procrastinate, but I'm going to make a list, and I'm going to go on a walk, and I'm not going to watch a movie with him because it's going to upset me, so I'm not going to do that. But there's lots I've done that I'm grateful for, and I want to come up with a system that works and not spend so much time building the castle that I forget what has to be done, because the work is the real stuff, not the plan. But the plan should be coherent enough that it makes the work easy, or at the very least possible to do. So yeah, that's August, and let's see what September does. Let's see what I do with September.